Picture this. You're strolling down Rodeo Drive, surrounded by luxury boutiques, palm trees, and the occasional celebrity sighting. The air smells of wealth, and the streets are lined with mansions that seem straight out of a movie. Now, imagine the same land over 150 years ago. A vast, rugged expanse of 4,500 acres, where cattle roam freely, and the only sounds are the rustling of eucalyptus leaves and the distant trickle of mountain streams. This was the world of María Rita Valdez Villa, the first landowner of what we now know as Beverly Hills. But who was she? And how did a woman of African descent come to own one of the most valuable pieces of real estate in the world? Welcome to our channel. If you're new here, we dive deep into history's most intriguing figures and forgotten tales, stories that deserve to be told. So buckle up, because today we're uncovering a tale of resilience, danger, and legacy that's been buried beneath the glitz of Hollywood. María Rita's story begins in 1791, in a place far removed from the California we know today. She was born in New Spain, what is now Mexico, to parents Sebastiana and Eugenio Valdez. But her roots dig deeper than that. Her great-grandfather was an enslaved African, and her grandparents, Luis and Maria Quintero, were among the original 44 settlers of Los Angeles, the Pobladores, in 1781. Luis, a free black man and skilled tailor, and Maria Petra Rubio, a woman of mixed African and Spanish descent, helped build the foundations of a city that would one day shine on the global stage. In 1781, Luis and Maria Quintero of Guadalajara were the last people to sign up to settle the new Spanish colonial town of El Pueblo de la Reina de Los Angeles. Luis, a 55-year-old tailor by trade, and much older than most of the 44 settlers. The Quinteros then settled in Santa Barbara, where Luis served as master tailor to the soldiers stationed there until his death in 1810. Many of his descendants stayed in Los Angeles and became respected members of LA's early community. At 17, she married Vicente Fernando Villa, a Spanish soldier with a steady hand and a bold spirit. Together, they raised at least 5 children, forging a life in a land still wild and untamed. But in 1841, fate dealt a cruel blow. Vicente died, leaving María Rita a widow in her 30s with a family to support. The Mexican governor of Alta California granted María Rita a sprawling 4,500-acre ranch called Rancho Rodeo de las Aguas. As the widow of a loyal soldier, she qualified for this land grant, but it was her grit and vision that turned it into a thriving homestead. She built an adobe ranch house near a natural spring, around today's Sunset Boulevard and Alpine Drive in Beverly Hills. The area was blessed with water flowing from 3 canyons, Franklin, Coldwater, and Benedict, a fertile oasis the native Tomba people had long called the Gathering of the Waters, El Rodeo de las Aguas. Here, María Rita would oversee a small empire of cattle and crops amidst wild, beautiful country. By all accounts, Dona María Rita was no ordinary ranchera. She hired a team of cowboys and native laborers as paid employees, unusual for the time, to help run her ranch's cattle, farming, and gardening operations. Imagine the scene in those years: herds of cattle roaming freely over rolling hills, cowhands rounding them up under the California sun, and María Rita herself supervising with a keen eye. Once a year, she held a grand rodeo, a roundup festival, to gather and brand her livestock. It was a festive occasion under a giant eucalyptus tree, with vaqueros, meaning cowboys, from around the region participating. Fun fact: Rodeo, meaning roundup, is the origin of the name Rodeo Drive, which today is the famed shopping street in Beverly Hills. The 1840s brought turbulent times to California. The Mexican-American War erupted in 1846, and by 1847 U.S. forces occupied Los Angeles. María Rita suddenly found herself under a new regime. She had to defend her claim to Rancho Rodeo de las Aguas against a wave of American settlers and changing laws. Many Californios, the Hispanic residents of Alta California, lost their lands in this period, but María Rita fought hard to keep what was hers. Against the odds, she managed to hold on to her ranch through the political upheaval, a testament to her shrewdness and resolve. Then came that fateful night in 1852. 3 armed outlaws, described in some records as Native American bandits, ambushed Maria Rita's ranch. The quiet of the rancho was shattered by gunfire. Maria Rita and her family, alongside loyal ranch workers, hunkered down as a shootout and siege unfolded among the walnut trees in Benedict Canyon, near today's Benedict Canyon and Chevy Chase Drive. Bullets whizzed through the dark grove as the defenders returned fire, fighting to protect the adobe and their lives. The battle was intense and lasted through the night. When the smoke cleared, Maria Rita had survived the harrowing attack. This courageous Black American rancher had stood her ground and lived to tell the tale, further cementing her legend. That wasn't the only storm brewing. The Mexican-American War had ended in 1848, handing California over to the United States. Suddenly, land ownership turned into a legal maze. Rancheros like Maria Rita had to prove their claims to the Public Land Commission, and she filed her case in 1852. But the process was brutal: endless paperwork, court battles, and the constant threat of losing everything. Maybe it was the shootout, or maybe it was the weight of a changing world. But in 1854, Maria Rita made a choice that would echo through time. She sold her ranch, her life's work, for $4,000, a fortune worth about $150,000 today, to Henry Hancock and Benjamin D. Wilson. That same year, Maria Rita's story came to a quiet close. She passed away in Los Angeles, her body laid to rest in the Old Calvary Cemetery. She never saw what became of her land, never knew the glittering future it held. But her exit wasn't the end, it was just the beginning. The next chapter of the land was one of struggles and false starts, as if the land itself missed its feisty matriarch. Soon after Wilson and Hancock took over, a cruel irony struck. The gathering of the waters dried up. A severe drought hit the region, decimating their crops and causing the cattle to die of thirst in dried stream beds. The new owner's dreams withered as the rancho's famous fertility vanished. Interestingly, both men's names live on in Los Angeles history: Wilson in Mount Wilson and Hancock in Hancock Park. But their Beverly Hills venture ended in disappointment. Over the next decades, Rancho Rodeo de las Aguas changed hands multiple times, with each new owner imagining a different future for the land. In the late 1860s, entrepreneur Edward Preuss bought the ranch with grand plans to create a farming community for German immigrants. He optimistically mapped out a town called the City of Santa Maria, subdividing the ranch into 5-acre lots to sell for $10 each. But Mother Nature had other ideas. Yet another devastating drought dashed these plans, and the half-formed City of Santa Maria collapsed before it really began. By the 1880s, the property was snapped up by new investors, Henry Hamel and Charles Denker, who planted bean fields just to generate a bit of income to pay the taxes. Hamel and Denker dreamed even bigger. They envisioned transforming the area into a luxury subdivision with a North African flair, to be named Morocco. It was an exotic idea that might have changed the course of Beverly Hills' image entirely. Yet this fantasy development never materialized. An economic downturn in 1888 sent the plan to the dustbin of history. Through all these failures, the land, once Maria Rita's thriving rancho, sat patiently, waiting for its moment. That moment finally came at the turn of the 20th century. In 1900, a group of investors led by Burton Green acquired the old ranch. At first, they searched for oil, forming the Amalgamated Oil Company and peppering the hills with wells. But after drilling well after well with no success, Green and his partners pivoted from black gold to green gardens. They reorganized as the Rodeo Land and Water Company in 1906 and decided to develop a residential town. Green's wife, inspired by memories of the lush scenery of Beverly Farms in Massachusetts, renamed the area Beverly Hills. Soon, the dusty canyons were carved into wide, winding streets lined with greenery. In 1912, a grand centerpiece, the Beverly Hills Hotel, was built at the very site of Maria Rita's former Rancho Spring, the legendary gathering of the waters. This luxury hotel, plopped amid fields and pepper trees, became a social hub and gave people a reason to visit the nascent community. It even had its own tiny railroad, nicknamed the Dinky, to shuttle visitors in, a whimsical touch in what was still a rural area. The strategy worked. Beverly Hills incorporated as a city in 1914, and not long after, it caught the eye of Hollywood. In 1919, movie superstars Mary Pickford and Douglas Fairbanks bought a house there, transformed it into the lavish Pickfair estate. The transformation was complete. The former cattle ranch was now one of the most affluent, famous cities in the world. Amidst the sparkle of modern Beverly Hills, the traces of María Rita Valdez Villa's legacy could easily be overlooked, but they are still present if you know where to look. The Beverly Hills Hotel itself stands near the site of her old adobe home, and on its grounds a humble plaque commemorates María Rita and her rancho Rodeo de las Aguas. Every day, tourists and locals drive along Sunset Boulevard, likely unaware that they are passing the very spot where a Black American pioneer built the first house in Beverly Hills. Only recently have historians and the community begun to shine a light on María Rita's contributions. She has been recognized as the foremother of Beverly Hills, a symbol of the diverse and often surprising heritage of Southern California. As we stroll down the immaculate streets of Beverly Hills today, imagining cattle trails beneath our feet, María Rita's spirit reminds us that even the most glamorous places can have humble, hardscrabble origins. Her legacy lives on in the very name and land of Beverly Hills, a testament to an extraordinary woman who once called this place home. Thank you for joining us on this wild ride through history. If María Rita's story lit a spark for you, give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. We're here to unearth the past, one incredible tale at a time, so stick with us, and let's keep exploring together. See you in the next one.